Hello, my name is Jackie and welcome back to my channel. What I thought I'd do today is show you around my garden. So I live in subtropical southeast Queensland and we're still in winter, and this is my main growing season because it gets so hot here in my climate during summer. Summer is quite difficult to grow any vegetables in. So now is a beautiful time in my neck of the woods. So come on and I'll show you. So just to give you an idea of what I'm dealing with here, this is my garden. Now it's big for some and small for others. We'll start on this bed over here and you'll see I have these alpine strawberries. These are absolutely stunning at the moment. I've actually bordered this whole bed with these alpine strawberries. They were actually in this wheelbarrow that you would have seen in frame just before, and I decided that I wanted them actually in my garden bed. So they're all along the border of this bed. Okay, then I've got some leeks in the middle there with some sunflowers. This little line here has actually had radishes, and you'll see some humongous, these are actually French breakfast radishes and they're enormous. These are actually small ones in comparison to what I've been getting out of here. And then I've got this very luscious kale plant. My family doesn't even really like kale, so I'm not sure why I'm growing that. Anyway, this is actually a sugar snap pea, or this is actually a few sugar snap peas that are not very well trellised. And then in under here, I've actually been wondering how my fennel has been going. So it's obviously far too hot in summer for me to grow fennel here in my climate. So what I do is I just chop it off. When I harvest the fennel, I just cut it sort of at the base. I don't pull the whole plant out. I just cut it just under the base. And then over summer, I just cover it up with a whole lot of mulch. And then in winter, they've been growing back. Now, I do have a couple in here, so I'm not sure what's happened to the others this season, but I'm glad to see that I've still got one crown in under there doing what it's supposed to do. Now these are supposed to be a sprouting broccoli. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to double check that. I'm not very good at record keeping, so I'll have to check what that is. Part of my issue with broccoli or cauliflower or cabbage is that my properly cool part of the season is not very long. And so this is actually the first time I think I've actually tried to grow broccoli. I've tried cabbages, like a small cabbage I can grow. What else have I done? Kohlrabi I usually can grow, but for some reason these ones, as I'll show you soon, these ones haven't bulbed up. But yeah, I don't have a long enough growing season really for a lot of these types of plants. But I thought that this particular variety, I was just trying out this variety to see if it would work. Doesn't seem to have. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So in under here, you'll see a very unwell looking capsicum. We're going to focus. Capsicum plant. So that's just left over from summer. And here we have an eggplant. So eggplant for us obviously is a perennial. And this was doing really well, but it hasn't actually produced any fruit for quite a while. So I don't know what exactly is happening there. Yeah, I've just got a sunflower there and a leek. That's actually left over from last season. I really need to chop that off and use it. Then we've got this little bed here. This was actually a temporary bed that I put up last growing season. And then I thought I just may as well keep it. So this is all green onions. Now, my understanding is that we actually don't have a cold enough climate to grow onions. I feel like they would probably just rot because they would, because of the high humidity. I might be wrong, but what my thinking is with this bed is that I just have a whole bed of green onions that I chop off at the bottom, and they all grow back. And so in that way, we can have onions pretty much all year round. But this is an experiment just seeing how it's going. Okay, so then if we go across to this bed, I've got a whole lot of tomatillos, you'll see, kind of sprawling over the sides there. I actually made a salsa yesterday out of my first harvest, which is very exciting. It was delicious. This is a little planted planted not so long ago. This is a little Japanese eggplant, sunflower. I plant a lot of sunflowers. I love sunflowers. Now, these are my problematic kohlrabis. You'll see they are massive. Look at the leaves on these. They are so big. There's absolutely no bulbs. So I don't know exactly what's happened here, but they really haven't done anything at all. They're actually about to be pulled out. So, and then here is my very healthy cos lettuce. Cos lettuce bed. For quite a while, actually. I thought this was Celtis. For some reason, when I, in between planting these seeds in pots and then putting them out, for some reason I thought I had two different varieties of Celtis. And so I was saying, it looks a lot like cos lettuce, but it's actually Celtis. It's not Celtis, it's cos lettuce. I can really only grow lettuce in these wintry months because it just gets too hot in summer, unfortunately. So I've been sharing a lot of that with my neighbours and work colleagues and all sorts of people just to try and use them. But I probably should pull them out and put some other things in because nobody needs that much lettuce. So then behind there, I've got, again, one of my Japanese eggplants. And this is a very sad looking, actually I'm not sure, I think it might be a Black Beauty eggplant. It's not loving life, so I don't know exactly what the story is there. It might be too cold at the moment. Sunflower. Now, these, I believe, are more broccoli. And again, they were planted a little bit later, and obviously not much broccoli in sight. In under there is a sole little beetroot. And then if we go over here to this little bed here, got a whole lot of kale. My family doesn't eat a lot of kale, but anyway, there's the kale. In here are some tomatoes. Now, these tomatoes are actually, I believe, a locally developed tomato in my region, which is probably why they're looking a bit sad because it's winter. Maybe they're supposed to be grown in summer. But, yeah, they're a dwarf, so that could also be why they just look really different. I'm really not entirely sure. Yeah, that's pretty much what we've got in there. And then at the back there, up against the trampoline, this is where I grow my potatoes. So this is the second year that I've done this. So in particular, my family loved growing potatoes. So we'd come out here of a night time, of an evening, and we would empty a pot into a wheelbarrow and my son would be able to sift through and find all the potatoes. So because of that, I think it will be a staple in my garden from here on in. Okay, so then over here we have some carrots. Now we've been harvesting out of here. I don't thin these enough. I'm well aware of that, but we still get carrots, so I'm not going to whinge about that. Then we've got another tomatillo, some more carrots that will probably be more successful because they came up not as thickly planted. Another sunflower. I think this is another one of my Black Beauty sunflowers. Again, still not doing very well. And another tomatillo. And this is my success. So if some of you have been around for a while, you would know that last year I had a fair bit of trouble with my snow peas. Well, this year I have had great success. When I planted, it was just after the seeds germinated. I actually gave them a really big dose of blood and bone, and I have had excellent production from this mass of plants. Now, what is probably harder to see in here is that I also have some tomatoes. Now, in the past, I've had a lot of trouble with tomatoes because we have fruit fly, we have a lot of pests, and so haven't had great success. I've done all the things that they say you have to do. I've pruned them, I've done all the things, but it's just hard when you've got really high pest pressure. So because of this jungle back here, I haven't really pruned them as much as I would have normally, and it's just kind of a jungle in there. And I think the pests actually haven't been able to find them because I've actually been harvesting tomatoes. And have a look at these. Look at them. They're beautiful. Oh, and look, there's some more that are just nearly ready to harvest. But there's just so many of them. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at them. I actually can't remember what variety this is, but I'm just so excited about them. Look at that. Look at them. Oh my goodness. I also have, you'll see that there's a nasturtium going nuts in there as well. But then I've also got, I don't have very good results with zucchini, and this year is no exception. I get these little fruit like this, and then I think they just get attacked by pests, and I never actually get to harvest very many of them, which is always very disappointing, but that's the way of it. So let's move on to the next bit. So over here I have a whole lot of beetroot. I can't remember what variety, to be honest. Anyway, then we've got some carrots over there, yet another sunflower, and this is my celtus. So as you can see, between this and the cos lettuce, I have lettuce basically coming out of my ears. Now, celtus, this is actually the first time that I've grown it, but it's supposed to be a cross between lettuce and celery. I haven't tried growing celery. I've always assumed that it's too hot. So I thought I'd try this and just see how it goes. So I harvest the leaves basically as lettuce, and then I assume it gets to a certain point and I will harvest it and use it like celery, but we'll see. I'll let you know how that goes. So one more bed. So across here, I've got quite a bit of coriander that's shot. Then what have we got here? More broccoli. Got some leek in there that's been drowned out by the radishes. They're actually really cool. I've fermented these and they're just amazing. I've just been sort of thinning them out as I go. They've been so good. I'll definitely be growing these again. I can't actually get close enough to show you that I actually do have some leek in there. It's too covered up by radishes. However, you'll just have to believe me. So then the other half of the bed. Okay, so here's another not very well looking eggplant. That's a really big weed, I think. Is that a weed? Pretty sure that's a weed. This is a sunflower. I've tried to plant another couple of zucchinis. They're also not looking all that great. I'd say it's been too cold for them to be so small. And then I have a little patch of beetroot. Yeah, I've got some big ones in here. I just haven't gotten around to harvesting, giving you some good shots of my weeds. And I can't remember what sort of flower this is. I actually bought seedlings, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's quite glorious at the moment. Okay, so that is my garden as at today. If you've got any questions, please do let me know. I will do my best to answer them. If you want to know any varieties or anything like that, I'll do my best to have a look through my very poor record-keeping system and see whether I can find them. But yes, it's a glorious, glorious time in the subtropics at the moment. Let me know what you're growing at the moment. Okay, see you now. Bye.